Welcome to the How Do I series of training videos for the ChiroSuite electronic health record system. In this video, we will discuss how to do direct patient billing. The first step is going to go into Tools and click on Patient Statements. Once you are in this area, if this is the very first time that you are going to be sending statements from the Chiro Office program, then the last cycle area is going to be blank in the from and through areas, and the due date will have defaulted to today's current date. However, if you have run the cycle in the past, it will show you what were the from and through dates and what the due date was on that particular cycle. Keep in mind that you should never close the billing cycle more than once within 21 days. Prior to closing the cycle, you want to set the due date after the statement period. So let's say that the statements are going to end today, and you want the patient to know that they should get the payment back to you within 10 days. You would leave it at the number 10, which is the default in the system. The reason for doing this is that it was found that when it was less than 10, especially if it was less than 1 week, in other words 7 days, that patients did not have enough time to get the bill paid before it would be considered late. When it went beyond the 10-day period to 20 days or even to a full month, it was found that too many patients put the bill on the side and didn't send in the check right away. So the due date being 10 days gives the post office enough time to deliver the mail to this patient and enough time for the patient to mail a check back to you. Our recommendation is to leave it at the number 10 over here. When you're going to close the billing cycle, simply click on the button to close cycle now. The system will verify that you want to close the cycle. You would say yes, and then it will automatically go into the Registry tab. In the Registry tab, it will list all the patients that have been set to either an amount due or have an outstanding balance. And in the Registry tab, you have multiple options for rearranging this list. First, you have the ability to click on Rebuild List, and that way you can use Smart Select. You can determine which criteria you want to use to create the list and or sort the list. Also, once the list is in place, any column that has a black heading is something that you can modify right here, and that will change it on the patient's statement. So for example, for this first patient that's listed, Stephen Hogaboom, it shows a minimum of $1,363.40. But you want the statement to show that it will be something less than that. You can click onto that line, delete the information that is there, and type in whatever is the dollar amount that you would like to have showing as the minimum due on his statement. As far as the amount past due, you can change that as well. The number of days late can be changed, but any column that has a gray heading is something that you cannot change. Also, as far as the statement is concerned, if you're going down the list and you see that it should be categorized differently, then this will change this item not only here, but also within the patient's file. So, for example, if you wanted to set this for this individual to always get a statement, even if he's got a zero balance or a credit balance, you can change that to always. If there's a reason to never ever send a statement to this individual, even if he has a balance due, you can click on never, and that will change it so that he never ever receives any kind of billing statement from you. And then as far as the amount due, that is the most common selection. It means that if the patient has a balance due, they're going to get a statement. If they do not have a balance due, they will not receive that billing statement. Note that down at the bottom there is a scroll bar, and you can move that scroll bar so that you can see additional information that is going on here. Typically, the patient's agreement with you is that they are responsible for 100% of the balance that is due. In the event that you decide that you want them to be paying less than 100% of the balance due, you can change this by clicking into it and change it to any number that you want, either as a percentage or as a specific dollar amount. Depending upon which late notice you're sending out, you have the ability to change that from gentle to persistent to normal or none. None means that they will never ever receive a late notice. Also, you have the ability here to change what is the penalty fee that you may be charging for a late payment. However, keep in mind that if you're going to charge a penalty for a late payment, that you must have proof that the patient was aware in advance that if they didn't pay on time, that the late payment would be imposed. Now, although that may be a standard operating procedure to charge a late fee under federal regulations, if you don't have proof that the patient was aware of this in advance, then you can be held liable for damages that you don't want to know about. Now, if you do charge a late fee, that penalty amount can be put in either as a dollar amount, or you can change it to a percentage of the balance due. And then additional information is here. There are some offices that use this list for collection purposes, and it can be used for that. However, this is not the ideal list in the system for that purpose. Once you have made all the changes that you want, then you can click on the Printing tab. Then the statement of account is used for the regular monthly statements. The past due reminder notice is for late billing. The concept here is that for the regular statement of account, let's say that you send it out on the 1st of the month. If you set the due date to be 10 days, then on the 15th of the month, you would come back into the system, rebuild the registry list, and then click on past due reminder notices, and you would send out the late notices to the patient. Now, both the statement of account and the past due reminder notices give you the ability to send messages to all the patients so that it makes life easier and clarifies what you're doing. For the statement of account, you would put a check in the box next to statement greeting, click on this little square, and that's going to open the SmartPad template editor. When it does open, you have approximately 8 lines of material that you can enter, so you can type in a message that will print on every single statement that you're mailing out. You can personalize the statement by using the insertion merge fields that are in SmartPad. Click on the Insert button, select Merge field, and then you can go down through each of the categories, choosing the items that you want. As an example, in this particular message where it says first, this is what was chosen, and it means first name of the patient. You can choose many different items. You can personalize this to your heart's content and get the message out that is going to go to every single patient in the practice. When you're finished with editing anything that's here, click on the Save icon, and then you can close SmartPad. And then when you click on the Print button, as those monthly billing statements are printed, that message will appear. For the past due reminder notices, the messages that go out are a little bit more complex. So for those messages, you would click on the Collection Plans tab. You would choose the plan type, either the normal, gentle, or persistent. Some offices choose to use only one of these. Other offices do make use of all 3. When you click on one of them, it's going to show you the number of days past due, what is the minimum payment, in other words, what is the balance that the patient owes you, whether it's less than $50 or greater than 51, and there's a little square on each line. Now, what ends up happening here? Well, the computer calculates the number of days late for the balance that is due, and then it determines which one of these line items to make use of. If the patient's balance is less than $50, it uses the messages that are a little bit more gentle on the left-hand side. If the patient's balance is $51 or higher, then it uses some significantly more strenuous language that appears on the items on the right. Now, how do you see each item and then edit it? You click on the little square for that line, and it shows you what it looks like in SmartPad Template Editor. Once again, over here you have the ability to type in whatever you would like to have on the statement form. You have the ability to make use of the insertion merge fields once again, so that you can choose whatever you need. And then when you're all finished with whatever editing you're going to do, click on the Save icon, and once it's been saved, then you can close out of the SmartPad Template Editor and go to the next item that you want. Now, as you saw, that was the very first item where the days past due is between 1 and 10. If you come to something that is greater than 91 days overdue, then you're going to have a message that is a lot stronger and much more powerful. We strongly advise you to go through each and every one of the messages that is in the system so that it correctly reflects what you want your practice to be sending out to the patients. When you're finished fixing and editing anything that is here, then click on the Save icon once again, and then you can close out of SmartPad. Once you have completed all the editing, then you can go back to the Printing tab, and when it's time to print the past due reminder notices, you click on Past Due Reminder Notices so that there is a dot in this particular location. Make sure that the statement forms are in the printer, and then you would click Print, and you will have that all completed. If there is a need for you to rebuild the registry list, then you would click on the Registry tab, click on Rebuild List, and when you do, you have several different options within Smart Select. Because this is for financial things, we recommend going into the financial area first by double-clicking on Financial, and then you can choose whatever you would like here. Since these items are going to the patient, the recommendation is go to Patient Balance. In the When column, click into that space, get the drop-down arrow, and you can choose any one of the items that's here. The last item on the list, you need to scroll down a little bit, is for greater than or equal to, and then in the left-hand value column, set the dollar amount for which you think it is the lowest that you would want to actually create a statement for. In other words, some offices say that even if it's only $1, they want the statement to go out. Other offices say for anything less than $10, it's not worth mailing. So you can then choose that, and then when you click OK, it brings the list into place just as you had it before. Other options that you can do on the Rebuild List area, when you click into it, for example, you can sort things. If you want to, you can sort the list by patient balance in either ascending or descending order. You can also sort it by zip code, and that may make life a little bit easier for the mailman, but in any case, you have multiple sorts available, multiple filters. You can get everything going the way that you want. And that concludes this video on how to do direct patient billing.